coming in under 4,300 pounds dry, about 7,000 pound GVWR. This lightweight couples coach is fantastic. And get this, it has one of the most advanced pieces of technology I've seen in an RV to date. This is the Seabreeze 19 FSS by Genesis Supreme. Again, lightweight, cute couples coach. But folks, when I talk about the most advanced piece of technology, this is it right up here. Look at this by your bed. Not only do you have a USB port, but you have a USB-C. Oh, my mind is blown. I know it sounds so silly, but you'd be shocked at just how greatly those are lacking in RVs. Love to see it. USB-C, HDMI, bring it on. That's a really cool feature to have in an RV. Again, I know it's minor, but for me, it's a really cool thing to see.
Only 10 years late.
Only 10 years late, Aaron. Only 10 years late. That's exactly right. So right up front is our queen bed. And the thing I love about this, again, a lot of times in a floor plan like this, they'll do a Murphy bed. I know a lot of us hate Murphy beds because a lot of times they're uncomfortable. I'm with you. Not the case here. You have a 60 by 80 residential queen size bed. Love having that residential size because as someone who's 6 foot tall, that means I can actually lay in bed. My feet aren't going to hang off, right? Plus, if I need to get a new mattress, it's an easy swap. I don't have to get a custom mattress, which is always a huge bonus. On both sides, you have nightstands, actual nightstands. You can see you have real tops on there, not just paneling. Why is that important? Well, because a lot of times if it's just a panel, like on a less expensive RV, you put a few things on there, all of a sudden that panel falls out because it's just stapled in. Not cool. That is a huge bonus, especially if you're like me and sleep with a CPAP machine. You have electrical outlets both sides, drawers there. Of course, wardrobe space on both sides and storage up top. Plenty of LED lights. That is one thing I will definitely give the Seabreeze. You have 2 rows of lights in this thing, basically all the way throughout, and especially with some of the bright colors. It is nice and bright in here, which I love. I hate being in a dark, dingy RV. Love, love, love all of the light. You have a TV right over here on a swing arm mount, so you can swing that over and around and be able to watch it on the sofa, which I'll show you in just a second. Otherwise, of course, you can just watch it right here in bed. So with an RV this size, definitely covers the whole thing. Let's get into the kitchen real quick. We have our Furion fridge freezer combo. This one is a 12-volt compressor-driven fridge, so it just runs off the batteries. A little bit of storage up top. We see this storage kind of everywhere. In this RV, you have the bar you can take out if you need to, have something a little bit bigger in there that you need to set in and take out. I don't know, I guess somewhat convenient, that we don't have to fit it in that small space. When we take a look at the countertop, pressed countertop, definitely an upgrade over like your T-mold where, you have like the T-mold that comes out and stuff on the corners. Then you get water in there and then your countertop rots out. And then you have to take it in and get it fixed. It's expensive. Nobody wants to do that. So definitely I'm a big fan of the upgraded countertop. Plus it's lighter than like a true solid surface. And I like the color. I like the design. I think they picked a pretty good one. 2-burner recessed cooktop with the glass cover. This, of course, just folds up and back. Boom, bada boom. You can access those. No oven in this one, just an FYI. So if you're someone who likes to bake when you camp, this is not going to be the unit for you. But instead, they did give you storage, which in my mind is better than an oven. If you disagree, I'm sorry. You can let me know in the comments. We can argue about it all day. But in a small RV, I need the storage. Big fan of having the drawers there. Also, you'll see a direct vent furnace. Because it's small, that's all you're going to need. But up top, you have a 13.5K BTU AC that is upgradable to a 15K. If you really want to cool this down in a hurry, you can definitely make that happen. Microwave, hood, pretty common stuff there. Pretty big storage, actually, up top. I do like this. I like having that for, plates, bowls, everything else you're going to need. That's a pretty big storage space, and it is on struts, as it should be. This, folks, this is a massive win. In an RV this size, having an actual deep, large stainless steel bowl, this is probably one of my favorite features of this kitchen. Far too often I'll see like a round bowl or a small bowl. This right here is a perfect size. You do still get a little bit of prep space here. I wish they would have had more on this side, but you do still get a little bit there, especially if you close that down. Tank monitoring panel as well as your water pump and your water heater control will be right down underneath. And then, as you'd expect, pretty decent storage right underneath there. Personally, again, I wish they would have just had one shelf, so I'd have one side for pots and pans, the other side for a place to put my trash can. Not the end of the world, but I just hate having a trash bag hang out. Now, as we walk over here, this one I struggle with, all right? You guys have to let me know, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to put here. It's, yeah, okay, again, you can remove these, and you have that space, but, like, man, I would have personally rather have seen this much more countertop, right? So I actually had some decent prep space over here. Give me the countertop. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're watching this and you're like, Ian, this is perfect. This is exactly what I would use that for. Please let me know because I'm just battling with this one a little bit in my head. All your main controls will be right up here. This one does have a slide out with that sofa. Again, I'll show you in a bit, as well as your power awning. Solar panel. This one does have, I believe it's a 180 watt solar panel that comes standard. So you have your charge controller in here and a key ring. Also, before we head into the bathroom, I'll show you this. I do enjoy this. You have a spot to hang up, jackets, or if you just have additional clothes, if you're going to be staying a while, you can do that too. Plus, you have this storage space underneath, which again, this is where I'm probably going to put a bunch of shoes. Yes, I'm going to be that monster that stacks a bunch of shoes on top of each other, but at least they're out of the way of the door. When we step into the bathroom, not terrible space, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to be dancing in here or working out or anything, but you do have enough room to be able to at least move over to your vanity and brush your teeth, do what you have to do. It is a mirrored medicine cabinet, so there is some storage there as well. Plus, underneath the sink, you have some storage, and it is a stainless steel sink, again, with that same pressed countertop, which I like. When I take a seat on the toilet here, it's actually not bad, right? At 6 foot tall, I actually have pretty good space. My right knee does touch, but it doesn't feel cramped. I have decent shoulder space here as well. They mounted the toilet paper holder high enough that it's actually usable. It's not like way back here or hitting my leg or anything like that. So that was actually pretty good placement. And when I step in the shower, this is always a big one. We're talking about smaller RVs, and at 6 foot tall, I can stand up. You can't be much taller, right? 6'1", 6'2". It's pretty much going to max it out at 6'2". You're probably going to be bending down a little. But as long as I stand underneath this skylight, I can stand in here and shower. Neo-angle shower. So, whoops, I'm hitting the drain. I can actually turn here and, I don't have to worry about bumping into the door or anything like that. Not that it's the biggest shower ever, but in a small RV like this, that one is actually pretty darn good. Let's make our way over to the side. So as I promised earlier, this is your jackknife sofa in this slide out. This does fold down into a bed, but it's not going to be one big enough for adults. It's mainly just going to be if you have some additional, grandchildren or something that need to crash. That's a good spot for them. More than anything, though, you'll just be using this as your main seating area as well as your main eating space. As you can see, this is where your table is. Now, this does fold up and hides right behind the couch here, or you can take this outside, right? If you want an additional table outside, need to set up like a little buffet or something, this it is very easy to move. Last couple things that I do want to touch on here are windows. You have windows on both sides of the bed. That is a huge win for me because that way you can get some great airflow coming through. And I will shut the slide here just to show you that kind of space, but you can access the refrigerator as well as the bathroom, as I'll show you in just a moment. So as you can see, I can easily reach the bedroom here. Also, full access to the refrigerator and freezer. And Aaron, why don't you spin it around for me a second? And dun-dun-dun-dun, full access to the bathroom. Let's take a look at the outside of the Seabreeze 19 FSS by Genesis Supreme. Right up front, this one does come standard with a power tongue jack, making it a lot easier to hook up and disconnect from your tow vehicle, and comes with a little light for some added visibility in case you're like me and you don't get to hook up until it starts to get dark, right? And then when you drop off when it's midnight, well, that definitely helps. Right behind that are two 20-pound propane tanks with a cover, of course, rails for your battery there, and the diamond plating to protect that front end a little bit from some of the rocks and debris that get thrown up by your tow vehicle. You also have a light right up front here, again, for a little bit of added visibility. That's an extra. A lot of travel trailers do not have that, so I do like seeing that. Then as we come around to the side, you can see that this one is fully fiberglass on the outside. In fact, it is actually fully laminated. It's not going to be a hung fiberglass, which at this price point is awesome, having that laminated sidewall. As we take a look at the pass-through, a couple things I really like about this. One, it is a nice thick baggage door you can see on here, nice and heavy duty. You also have a covered hinge, so that way You're not gonna have a bunch of rust and stuff that comes down your door, which sometimes you have an uncovered hinge, that can certainly happen, and it's a magnetic catch. So that way if you have kids, grandkids, they come and slam it shut. It's not gonna break a plastic clip or anything to that effect. And if you see, as you take a look inside that pass-through, you will see it is completely finished off. That way as you're pulling things in and out, you don't have to worry about things snagging on any wood or anything like that. You don't have to worry about any framing getting in the way. I really do like that, plus it just adds a nice aesthetic. The power awning here, you will notice, spans almost the entire campsite of the RV, basically. So all this is great camp space, and because it is a Solera awning, it is very easy to adjust the pitch on here. So that way, if you need to adjust it for some water runoff, or if you just need to drop it down as the sun starts to move to be able to provide the shade, this gives you the ability to do that. And the cool thing about this one is you don't have to reset it. If you have it like this and you roll the awning up, it will actually move itself in, which is pretty great. You also notice the LED light strip underneath, so you have light at night, and of course that is blue, so it shouldn't attract quite as many bugs, hopefully. And you will notice the frameless windows. Now, I'm a big fan of frameless windows because not only do they look a heck of a lot nicer, but also it helps protect the seals because they're tucked behind the glass here, and the way they essentially tilt open means that you can have these open while it's raining, as long as it's not like a sideways rain, so it's not going to get super stuffy in there. You can open some windows up, which is great. You'll also see outside connections here for a TV in the event that you do want a TV outside, or if you just need to plug anything else in, like we mentioned, you can bring that table out, plop it right there, and be able to have access to that electrical outlet. As I mentioned, inside this one is dual axle, 7,000 pound GVWR on here, which is great. So you have some pretty considerable carrying capacity, over 2,000 pounds, and you have a spare underneath. So in the event that you do have a blowout, you're able to use that spare and be able to get back on the road. Getting into the RV is pretty simple. You can see the foldable grab handle right here, our standard fold-out steps. Underneath, now this one does not have an enclosed underbelly, but if that is something you're interested in, it is an option on these Seabreeze to get that fully enclosed and heated underbelly. The back of the Seabreeze, I personally really enjoy. It's very unique, something we don't really see on the back side. It's very sleek. You can see they have kind of the aerodynamic spoiler design up top. It just looks very clean. So front and back, they did a really good job on the exterior of this one. And again, as I mentioned, right, this one is laminated all the way around, which is pretty wonderful, with the exception of the side boxes on the slide here, but everything else will be laminated. As we come around to the side, you can see their 30 amp power supply plugs in here, cable inlet. Again, they do a good job of making sure everything is lit. So if you have to dump your tanks at night, or again, if you get into the campsite late, need to hook up at night, you have a light to be able to see what you're doing. Your terminations are both right down there. And this one has a black tank flush, which again is a huge bonus to have. So you don't have to stick a hose down your toilet to wash out the black tank, just hook it up right there. Outside shower here with hot and cold access to it as well. This, of course, is your slide box. You can see that it uses the Schwintek style slide, or worm gear driven slide. On a slide this size, it works really well. You will also notice your bulb seals. You have plenty of seals here, swiper seal, bulb seal, to make sure that you don't have any water intrusion inside the camper. All right, folks, and that wraps it up. Again, this right here is a 2023 Seabreeze 19 FSS by Genesis Supreme. If you're interested in this little beauty and you'd like some price and availability nearest you, simply click on the link in the description. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time, we'll see you.